Hello, 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 and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is the 2nd of April, 2025, and I am super excited to be running over the crypto markets with you guys today. Go ahead and share the link in the Discord and on my X account, and we'll get started, baby. It's a good day to be alive, trading and investing in the crypto markets. Let's get this link shared. We'll go over to X and share the link here too. And we'll get started. I have quite a few requests from you guys for different coins that you want me to cover, because I did let everybody know that I was going to do this last night. So quite a few of you reached out and was like, hey, I want you to cover this coin or that coin. So we've got a few requests. We're going to start off with Bitcoin first and foremost, as always, and probably the total market cap as well, because those are pretty important to the crypto markets, to look at Bitcoin and to look at the total crypto market cap. That's where you're going to get a lot of information and data as to what's coming. What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys tuning in. Sweet. Let's get started here. Let's do the total market cap first, and we'll get in on some analysis for the total market cap. So, total market cap is very similar in terms of Elliott wave structure to Bitcoin, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Because Bitcoin has the biggest market cap, so it makes sense that the total market cap is going to look the most like Bitcoin, right? Matt Otzi, love the live streams. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. When blast off then? Well, I honestly think we're going to blast off pretty soon, you guys. So, just be prepared. Be ready for big things. Let's go ahead and get started here on the total crypto market cap. So let's go ahead and zoom into a smaller time frame. Normally I start off on the daily, as you guys know. Most all of the analysis that I do is on bigger picture time frames. But I do want to drop down here to the 4-hour, and we'll do a little bit of analysis here on the 4-hour and take a look at the MACD. So you can see that the price of the total crypto market cap has seen a lower low here, just like this. And the reason I'm pointing out this previous lower low right here, instead of focusing on what's going on right now, although we will take a look at this in just a second, is because divergence is a signal that often you don't see the fruition of that signal for quite some time. So we have bullish divergence on the total crypto market cap here, and you can see that by a lower low in price and a higher low on the MACD. Now, basically, the way that this works, you guys, wherever you have bullish divergence, you're going to see a reversal in the market like 90% of the time. It's one of the most powerful signals that you can ever learn for finding bullish or bearish reversals in the market. Now, in the case of the total crypto market cap, you can see that we do have bullish divergence here on the 4-hour, which is a very strong buy signal. Now, we started to see a little bit of the fruition of that bullish movement right here, as price did move off of these lows from 2.45 trillion up towards 2.87 trillion in the total crypto market cap. But then we did come back down for a double bottom structure. As you can see, we came back down to 2.6 trillion. Which is a Fibonacci ratio. If we measure from the peak low to the peak high of this swing low to swing high, you can see that we landed onto the 618 level, which is the golden ratio. So if you guys don't know anything about Fibonacci and the way that Fibonacci works, it's super cool. Fibonacci is found all throughout life, and there's this thing called the golden ratio. And the Greeks knew about this, even Leonardo da Vinci knew about this, like a whole bunch of different people that were really smart, that changed the world, knew about the Fibonacci ratio, and the golden ratio. And the reason this golden ratio is so important in trading and investing is because we find that consistency in the markets. The 618 is called the golden ratio, but it's also called the golden pocket because markets do have a tendency to reverse off of that 618 level and start to go up towards the next area that they're going to. So they do have a tendency to see reversals on the 618 level. So super powerful to understand that golden ratio. One of the most powerful things that you can understand about Fibonacci is that 618 level. So we're looking for that 618 level often for reversals, and that's exactly what we see here with the total market cap. We have this bullish divergence. We started to move up based on that bullish divergence. Then when we started to come back down in the other direction, we came down to that 618 level. So pretty cool, right? We're bouncing right off the 618 level, and that's a common place to see a bullish reversal in the market. So it wouldn't surprise me personally at all to see the price of the total market cap start to break out up through our local resistance here and begin to see a reversal. Mainly because, like I said earlier, bullish divergence takes time to see the fruition of that bullish divergence. We have bullish divergence in the market. In fact, going all the way back over to here too. Even this swing low right here and this swing low over here on the MACD, that's all bullish divergence. So for 3 points in the market here, we have bullish divergence in the market, which is a very strong signal. And the fact that we've only moved from 2.5 trillion up to 2.87 trillion tells me that that bullish divergence has not seen the fruitage of that signal. We haven't seen the fruition of that signal. So I do believe we will break out through local resistance here on the 4-hour with the total market cap and begin to see a nice reversal off of these lows and start to see the beginning of what could be a big upward move for crypto. So that's just what we're looking at here on the 4-hour with the total market cap. Street workout. Hey, Dallin, can you do analysis on Ondo? Yeah, I'll put that on the list right now. And when we're done talking about the total market cap and Bitcoin, I would love to run over Ondo for you. You do good, or you demand TA Sensei. Thanks for the total TA. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm happy to help, happy to share my views on the market, and thankful for you guys tuning in today. Matt, would you take a look at BSV/BTC? Yes, we can look at BSV BTC. Here in a little bit, we're going to cover some other coins first. Professor K, hey Dallin, good morning. What is up, my friend? Good to see you tuning in, and I appreciate you tuning in to today's live stream. Cool. So that's my view on the total market cap. I do believe here on the 4-hour, we will start to reverse. We will start to turn around, and we will break out through local resistance, and all of this bullish divergence right here will start to play out for the bulls, and we'll start to see more upside off of these lows. So that's my personal view on the total crypto market cap. Now let's check out Bitcoin. Now, just because I'm bullish on Bitcoin, this is not bad for altcoins, okay? I want you guys to be perfectly aware that inside of a Bitcoin bull market, Bitcoin always sees the first big bullish move and leads the market, and then altcoins have a bull market too, and Bitcoin and altcoins have a tendency to rise together, but there is a certain point where altcoins start rising faster than Bitcoin, and that is the well-known famous altcoin season that everybody likes to talk about. Once altcoins start moving faster in terms of percentage gain than Bitcoin, that is the very definition of altcoin season. So cool, let's get started on our Bitcoin analysis. So for Bitcoin here on the 4-hour, you can also see that bullish divergence here on Bitcoin. we have a lower low in price and a higher low on the MACD. So that's bullish divergence. And we are starting to see a reversal off of these lows. We are at that point here where we're very likely going to push right up through this local resistance. We don't see a lot of rejection, at least so far, at this area. So I do think we will push up through here on Bitcoin at local resistance. Now let's switch over to the daily and take a look at the Elliott wave count here for Bitcoin. And I didn't do an Elliott wave count on the total market cap because I got in on the smaller time frame. I was going to, but we'll run over that too in just a second. So you can see here we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 here with Bitcoin here on the daily. And then we have our ABC correction down, A, B, and C wave down. So that looks really good. This is what we want to see in the market. Wherever you get a very clear Elliott wave impulse like this is generally a very, very good sign to be picking up, especially at the bottom of these ABC corrections. Or if you can clearly identify wave 2 or wave 4, those are also pretty good entries. Now, wave 2 being the best entry, unless you get an extended fifth wave, then wave 4 is also a very good entry. But wave 2, of course, is the best entry if you're trying to buy a bullish Elliott wave impulse like this, right? Now, so that's my view on Bitcoin here. We do have 5 waves up and an ABC correction down. And basically what this means, if you're new to Elliott waves and you don't understand the way Elliott waves work, at the bottom of an ABC correction or wave 2, those are the 2 best places possible to be picking up crypto. There's no better place than in wave 2 or at the bottom of an ABC correction to be buying. So the fact that we're pretty much at the bottom, we've came up a little bit off of these lows, but we're pretty much at the bottom of a potential complete Elliott wave cycle here. This is a very good time to be looking at buying crypto or holding on. Definitely not a good time to be thinking like a seller, right? Because of this Elliott wave count. So that looks really good here on Bitcoin in the shorter time frame. Now let's go ahead, or on the daily, I mean. Now let's go ahead and check out the total market cap and do a quick analysis on it as well. And the Elliott waves for the total market cap are even more clear. So what we see here with the total market cap is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. Now the reason that they're more clear, it's not necessarily, I'll correct myself, it's not necessarily that they're more clear. It's really just that the Elliott wave count here for the total market cap doesn't have an expanded flat. So this is more of a textbook Elliott wave cycle for the total crypto market cap than what we see with Bitcoin. This is way more common to see just a standard zigzag correction, although I will say the crypto markets do have a tendency to see an expanded flat correction. That has historically happened quite frequently in the crypto market, so it's definitely not out of the picture. But this is a lot more of a standard Elliott wave impulse that you'd see like in a textbook learning about Elliott waves, right? With the total market cap. So that's the difference. We have an expanded flat correction on Bitcoin, and we have a regular zigzag correction with the total crypto market cap. Now, if you guys don't know what the difference is, an expanded flat is basically where wave B goes out up above the top of wave 0 and then comes back down. So it's expanded like that. And a regular zigzag correction is where the B wave goes up, does not reach above wave 0, and just looks more like this. So the difference is what wave B does. If wave B goes out up above, it's an expanded flat. And that really tricks a lot of average investors to have that expanded flat, because most people end up buying the top of wave B. I've done it before. Professionals do it sometimes. It really doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes you're going to get tricked by the market one way or another. And in the case of an expanded flat correction, that is a very common way that your average investor does get tricked, because it looks like it's going to break out, right? It looks like it's going for a new high, like it's ready for another big impulse wave, and it ends up being a local high and then going for another low. Whereas the regular zigzag correction is a little bit easier to identify, because once you see the rejection of wave B at the top right here, once you see that clear rejection and it's starting to go back down to wave A and looking weak, it's a little bit easier to identify, oh, this is probably a topping structure. We see a lower high. The market doesn't look like it's breaking out, and it's a little bit easier to identify those while they're happening, right? Because this is all while it's happening. The reason that wave B tricks so many people is because while it's happening, it looks like it's breaking out for a new high. And the reason that wave B doesn't trick as many people on the regular zigzag correction is because it doesn't break out, so it's a little easier to identify that lower high. So that's the Elliott wave count for the total crypto market cap and the Elliott wave count for Bitcoin. Both of them look bullish. Both of them look ready for more upside. And both of them look like they are preparing for a reversal based on Elliott wave structure. Fart coin, please. Yeah, yes, I can do analysis on fart coin for you. Cryptocurrency, man. The only place where you get names like that, right? Where else? You can't go find a stock named fart stock. At least I don't think you can. Let's go try and see if there is one. Oh my goodness. Stocks. Nope. See, there isn't a single stock. There's one called Fartif, but there isn't a single stock called Fart. So welcome to the wonderful world of cryptocurrency, right? And yeah, we're going to get right into doing analysis of your favorite coins. We're already 17 minutes in. Holy cow. Time flies when you're excited about life, right? Do you look at miners such as Mara? No. So I have done a little bit of Ethereum mining. I had a friend build some Ethereum miners for us, and we made like a couple $1,000 doing it, and it cost maybe like $700 or $800 to build the miners. But I've never been big into mining. I stick to what I know how to do. The charts are what I know how to do. The charts are what I'm familiar with, and that's where I've been able to make the most money in my personal trading and investing career, is just with the charts, right? So that's why I do that. Cryptosphere, watch divergence on MACD only, on daily and weekly. On the 4-hour, you are late. I disagree with you, just because of the fact that the MACD is extremely powerful for reversals. I've made a lot of money using the MACD on the 4-hour, finding reversal patterns for bullish or for bearish. So I personally think that the MACD is very, very powerful on the 4-hour time frame. And yes, I do look at it on the daily. I do look at it on the weekly. But don't be afraid, you guys, to use the MACD on the 4-hour time frame. I've made a lot of money and caught a lot of reversals trading the 4-hour time frame. But the bigger time frames are more meaningful. So wherever you find a signal on a bigger time frame, it can be more powerful and more meaningful. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, so okay, let's go ahead and get into the analysis of coins that you guys have requested for the day. Ondo. So yeah, Ondo is a really, really good looking setup here. You can see that we do have a complete Elliott wave cycle here on the daily with Ondo Finance. So let's go ahead and do some Elliott waves for you guys. We've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. So that's a complete bullish Elliott wave impulse here. And then we have our ABC correction down. So we have wave A, wave B, and wave C. So that's a perfect bullish Elliott wave impulse here with Ondo Finance. Now, what I'd kind of be watching here is a lot of the same stuff that I'm looking at with a lot of different altcoins. Like I made a video about Dogecoin yesterday, and where I personally think Dogecoin is going to go before the end of this big mass adoption cycle for crypto. And in that video, I talked a little bit about the previous bullish Elliott wave impulse on Dogecoin. Before Dogecoin went up to 43 cents, we were looking at an Elliott wave structure that was virtually identical to what we see here with Ondo Finance. So let's go ahead and pull this up and I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to keep Ondo Finance over here on the left, and we're going to look at Dogecoin over the summer last year, and basically how we were able to call the bottom on Dogecoin and make a lot of money when Dogecoin went all the way up to 40 cents right here and really took off. So let's go ahead and look at this. So here's our Elliott wave count on Ondo on the left, and we're pulling up Dogecoin over here on the right. So what you can see here with Dogecoin, we do have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And then we have our ABC correction down, wave A, wave B, and wave C. So you can see the similarities between these two charts, can't you? Now, what's really crazy here is look at this right here. This is how Dogecoin double bottomed before it went all the way up to 43 cents. And if you look at Ondo Finance right now, take a look at that. That's a spitting image of the exact same human psychology playing out all over again, just like it did with Dogecoin last summer when everybody panic sold their Dogecoin at the bottom because of the summer correction, and they all thought we were going to go for a big bear market, and everybody was bearish, and then it went to 43 cents. So just keep your eyes on the prize, you guys. There's a lot of money to be made in these markets, especially if you have your head on straight and you're looking at these markets for what they are. And in the case of Ondo Finance, I do believe we are the beginning of a reversal here. We're starting to see the beginning of a reversal down here at 86 cents. So yeah, I really like this setup here with Ondo, and I do believe we will see a nice vertical move off of these lows and begin to see a nice bullish market here for Ondo Finance. Okay, let's see here. We've got other coins that you guys want me to cover for the day. Will you look at BSV/BTC? Yes, I can. Let's pull up BSV/BTC. Where is it? Maybe not. Maybe I can't look at it. BSV crypto. Here we go. BSV Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and go out to a bigger time frame here, like the 8-day time frame for BSV BTC. Okay, so this is down pretty significant from its peak. As you can see here, we're down really far from our all-time high here on BSV/BTC, which was 0.053, and we're all the way down to 0.00037. So that's a pretty significant drawdown here on BSV/BTC from our old all-time high, all the way down to where we're at. That's a 99% drawdown. So this has seen a pretty brutal correction versus Bitcoin, and it makes sense because Bitcoin has been in a very strong bull market, and BSV just has not seen strength. It's just been really weak for the past couple years. Really, even all through 2021, 2022, and 2023, and even 2024, BSV has been very weak. So because Bitcoin has a strong bull market and BSV has been weak, that's why you can see the Bitcoin BSV pair is not doing so hot, right? It's looking pretty bad, at least here in the big picture, right? So in order for us to get a reversal here on BSV/BTC, we do need to see a lot of resistance starting to be broken through, right? We need to start breaking out through local resistance. We need to push up through. We basically have to start seeing the beginning of a reversal structure, which as of currently, we do not see any signs right now on the Bitcoin pair of a reversal. The only thing that we do see is on the bigger time frame, like the 4-day, we do have bullish divergence on the MACD. So on the 4-day time frame, we do have bullish divergence on the MACD forming for multiple years now, all the way since 2022. We have had bullish divergence on BSV versus Bitcoin with the MACD. So that could give us a signal that maybe this does reverse soon, but we do have to start breaking out through local resistance and start to see some strength come into this, because as of lately, it's been very weak for the past few years. Okay, let's go ahead and do analysis on Fartcoin as requested. Oh my goodness, you guys. I love crypto so much. It makes me laugh so hard. Good old Fartcoin, baby. Okay, so here we go. So basically here with Fartcoin, we can see I can't even do analysis on this thing without laughing. We do have a perfect Elliott wave structure, you guys. But first, the first thing I want to point out though is our Fibonacci ratio. So we came back down to the 88% Fibonacci ratio, and the 88% is a very common place for altcoins to reverse. So Bitcoin, in the big picture, Bitcoin always reverses off the 786 level, but altcoins always reverse off the 88%, like every single time. You can go back and you can look at every single Bitcoin bull market in the big picture, and then the bear market that came afterwards. So a complete cycle, and every single time Bitcoin bottoms out at the 786 level, which is crazy that it's so consistent, right? But that's just the way markets work. Human psychology repeats over and over, and we do the same stuff. We fall for the same tricks all the time. It's human nature. So Bitcoin does have a tendency to bottom out at the 786 level in the macro cycle every single time. And in fact, before we get into doing analysis here on Fartcoin, let's go ahead and pull up Bitcoin, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you look at Bitcoin on the bigger time frame here, and we won't go through every single cycle because I just want to quickly teach you this. But if we measure from swing low to swing high, Bitcoin bottomed out at the 786 level. It went like a little bit way in between right here, but pretty much the 786, right? And then if we go to our next macro cycle right here, Bitcoin bottoms out at the 786 level, right? All the way down to the 786. Perfect reversal point for Bitcoin, the 786 level. Then even if we go one more cycle here on Bitcoin. If we go back to the 2015 cycle, right here, you can see that Bitcoin bottoms out at what level? The 786 level. Now there's a little wick that almost goes to the 88, but it's pretty much the 786. So Bitcoin bottoms out in the macro on the 786 every single cycle. So wherever you start to see a big bear market coming, when you actually begin a bear market on Bitcoin, which we are nowhere near one, and anybody that says that we are has no idea what they're freaking talking about. Plain and simple. If they're calling for a bear market right now, they have no idea what they're talking about. But when we do actually start a bear market for Bitcoin, which eventually we will, watch the 786 level, because that's where Bitcoin has bottomed out in every single bear market, except for the very first one when it virtually had no market cap at all. And then that cycle, it bottomed out at the 95% retracement, just like how altcoins have a tendency to bottom out at the 88 or the 95% retracement, which I don't have on my chart right now, but I'll go ahead and add it to the chart. Actually, 92%, my bad, not 95. So the 92% and the 88% are where altcoins have a tendency to bottom out, and Bitcoin has a tendency to bottom out at the 786 level. So there you go. That's the big secret that nobody tells anybody in these markets that can make you tons of money if you just follow that. That's what nobody talks about. But that's historically what happens in the crypto markets every single time, is that we get a bottom out at either the 88 or the 92% on altcoins and the 786 level on Bitcoin. Now, if we measure from peak low to peak high, look where Bitcoin bottomed out on this cycle, the 786 level, right? So just keep that in mind, you guys. Fibonacci is so powerful for your trading and for your investing. Holy cow, we got a bunch of people tuning into today's live stream. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. And let's go ahead and start on doing analysis for Fartcoin. So as you guys can see, we do have a full retracement all the way back all the way back down to the 88% Fibonacci level. So we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 right here. Then we get our ABC correction down to the 88% level, which is where most altcoins bottom out. So I do think this is starting to bottom out. I really do. I think this coin could be a big meme coin player for this cycle. Just like Frog, I think FWOG will do the same thing, FWOG. This thing is looking ready to bottom out too. If you look at FWOG in the bigger picture here, and we go to a better time frame, like the daily, I think this thing is getting ready to bottom out too, in a very similar sort of way. We have 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5th wave up here on FWOG, and then an ABC correction down. And I think this thing's going to bottom out sooner rather than later. We have volume coming back into the market now, and we're starting to go sideways. That's a really good sign for this coin. And I think we will bottom out sooner rather than later. And the same is true for Fartcoin. So there you go. Did analysis on it for you. It kind of makes me laugh. I don't know if I can keep doing analysis on it without starting to laugh, so we're going to switch over to a different coin. But yeah, watch for this rounded bottom too, okay? There's a nice rounded bottom structure for Fartcoin as well. What a name, you guys. What a name. What a crypto. A crypto for the books. One for the history books, isn't it? Okay, let's see here. Dallin, my bro, what's up, my friend? Do I look at miners? Oh, you mean the charts for the miners? Yeah, I actually don't. So that's a good idea, though. I haven't ever thought of doing that. Mara? I guess Mara is a stock for. I guess this is a miner company. Mara? Is that what this is? Is a miners company? Let's look this up. Mara Miners. Mara Holdings. Sustainable Energy. Mara Holdings Incorporated. Yeah, so I have not done analysis on this before. But there is a lot of volume down here, and that can be a really good sign. If you start to see anything chopping around like this, and there's lots of volume, a lot of times that can mean the beginning of a bigger thing starting to happen, where a bull market's coming, and there's a lot of accumulation, and that choppiness and that sideways action is really a sign of that accumulation. And it wouldn't surprise me to see some type of a bullish move happen for this stock. But stocks are not my expertise. I know a lot more about crypto cycles. They do apply all the stuff that you learn about trading and investing in crypto does apply to stocks, but there is some differences. And so I wouldn't say that I know for sure when it comes to stocks. I'm a lot more confident in the crypto markets, but I do think this could turn around based on what I know about technical analysis. Please like to Dallin is free. Yes, everything that I do here on these live streams is completely free. If you guys want one-on-one coaching so you can become professionals at trading and investing in the crypto markets in only 12 weeks of your time, then go ahead and apply for one-on-one coaching in the description box below. And it's just a simple Google form. I'll hop on a phone call or a Zoom call with you, and we'll talk a little bit about what it is and how you can start to make money in these markets and become a pro in only 12 weeks of one-on-one coaching. Cool. What about Litecoin? Let's do XDC first because that one was requested first, and then we can go into Litecoin as well. XDC. So yeah, I think I did analysis on this last time for you guys, if I remember right, because I still have some drawings on this coin, and I do believe this coin is bullish. Let's see if we can find one where there's more volume. Maybe on KuCoin? Yeah, that looks a little bit more liquid to me. Bitfinex, it's just not as big of an exchange as it used to be. So let's go ahead and do some analysis here on XDC. So we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. Now, we learned a little bit about the Fibonacci ratio and the golden pocket. But first, I want to teach you a little bit about Elliott waves and ABC corrections. So you can see we have an ABC correction here on XDC. But do you notice how wave A has this weird wick? This is where you have to sometimes you have to ignore wicks. Okay? And the reason for this, if we switch this chart to the line chart, let's see here. And we only do price source opens. There we go. If we switch this chart to the line chart, that wick isn't there anymore. And a lot of professionals count their Elliott waves on the line chart instead of the candlestick chart. And especially, you at least have to learn how to ignore wicks, because with crypto is extremely volatile. A lot of cryptos don't have near the market cap that big stocks have. And so it's really volatile. And because of that, you get these crazy wicks where sometimes the market just pumps and then dumps all the way back down, and it leaves this massive wick on the chart, and you just have to ignore it like it never even happened, because it's going to screw up your analysis. Now, I'm not saying to ignore every single wick, because there's a lot of wicks that you want to pay attention to, a lot of wicks that are very valuable to understand. But there are a good portion of them, just because of low liquidity, because of manipulation, or whatever you want to call it, there can be big wicks in the market. And you just have to ignore it and focus on the actual Elliott wave count. In the case of XDC, we do have a perfect 5-wave impulse and an ABC correction down right onto what I believe is the 618 level. Let's measure and see. Yep, right onto the 618 level. So that's a very common continuation setup here for crypto. Let's go over here and I'll show you what I mean. A lot of times in a crypto bull market, you're going to see exactly what I'm about to draw. Especially if you're starting to bottom out off of big picture lows and start a bull market, this is what you're going to see. So what you see a lot of times is your first wave impulse, your 3-wave impulse, your 5th wave impulse. Then you get an ABC correction onto the 618 level or the 786, but the 618 is a very, very common place to see this happen. So I'll draw our Fibonacci. So it comes back down to the 618 level, and then it starts a new bullish impulse wave and continues up for another move like this, because this is the way that markets work. They expand, they contract, and then they expand again. And so when you're mapping out those cycles and you're looking at those Elliott wave impulse cycles, a lot of times you're going to find that the wave C is going to bottom out at the 618 level. And that's what I believe is happening here for XDC. We're landing onto the 618. We completed an ABC correction, and I believe we are going to start to turn around here and see a reversal off of these lows. Not to mention the fact that the 618 level is the most common place in the smaller time frames to see a reversal. So pay attention on the smaller time frames like the daily. A lot of times you will see a reversal on the 618 or even the 4-hour time frame. Again, on the bigger time frames, most of the time with Bitcoin, you're going to see a reversal on the 786 level. On like 80% of all of its cycles, there was only one cycle that it didn't bottom out at the 786. And with altcoins, you're going to see them bottom out on the 88 or the 92 in the big picture. But on the smaller time frames, both Bitcoin and altcoins have a tendency to bottom out at the 618 level. Sometimes they go as low as the 786, but most of the time they bottom out at the 618 Fibonacci retracement. So that's super powerful. Just understand that one little piece of information can completely change your trading and make you a profitable trader in the crypto markets. This is the stuff that nobody's looking at. Everybody looks at the wrong things. And unfortunately, they don't make money because they're worried about the wrong things. You have to tune out from the noise and focus on what's truly important. And one of those things that's truly, truly important is the Fibonacci ratios on the daily time frame or on the 4-hour or on the weekly, and paying attention to those major swing low to swing high and watching those ratios. That's truly important. That's something you really need to focus on if you want to be profitable in the crypto markets. Okay, cool. Let's do Litecoin now. as requested by my followers. Okay, we're going to take it off the line chart because even though we were counting Elliott waves on the line chart, I personally don't really use it that much. So, okay, let's go at a little bit of a smaller time frame here with Litecoin. So this is a horizontal consolidation pattern. So we're going to measure the resistance of our pattern here, and then we're going to come down here and measure the support of the pattern. You can see that Litecoin is moving inside of a range, right? We have our lows down here, our highs up here, and we're really moving inside of a range with Litecoin. And every time it's come to the bottom of this range, we've seen a strong bounce on the upside, and that's what I personally think could happen here with Litecoin in the near future, is a bounce off of these levels and for us to start to head up towards the top of this range. Now let's zoom out just a little bit further here and talk about what's going on in the bigger picture for Litecoin. So in the bigger picture, what we've seen happen here is the beginning of a potential big picture reversal. So again, we have a range right here, like this. We have a range. So our lows of the range are down here, as you can see. Every time we hit those lows, we bounce up off of them. And the resistance of our range is right here. Every time we hit resistance, we come back down, right? Now, we started to break bullish out of that range, and then we came back down to what's called the median line. So that's the center of the range. Let's pull this down a little bit right there. The center of this range, we came up out of it a little bit here. Then we came back down to the center of the range. So what I think could happen here with Litecoin is a reaction off the center of this range and the bottom of that smaller range that we were just looking at. So pay attention for that. In the big picture, I am very bullish on Litecoin. And I don't think it's going to be left behind in the mass adoption cycle for crypto. Okay. Bitcoin Cash. Yes, let's talk about Bitcoin Cash. So somebody else asked me to do Bitcoin Cash big picture targets. So that's what we're going to do is as a Bitcoin Cash big picture target for you guys, and talk a little bit about where I think Bitcoin Cash can go in the bigger picture for a big picture target for Bitcoin Cash. So let's go ahead and pull up Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase because that has the most historical data and it's the most useful. Out to the 15-day time frame and take a look at this, okay? This is the one thing that nobody's talking about. All of the Bitcoin Cash YouTubers out there, all of the people that are talking about Bitcoin Cash, I personally don't watch a lot of other YouTubers, but I can tell you right now that this is the one thing that nobody's talking about. So let's pull up Bitcoin Cash here, and then we're going to pull up Litecoin on the bottom. And this is what I mean by big picture accumulation cycles. Once you understand this about markets, everything changes. This is so powerful. Just understand this one thing. Most people don't make money in the markets, not because they're dumb, not because, they were born with bad genetics and they can't see patterns good enough. No, it has nothing to do with that. It literally just has to do with the fact that they don't have the right information. If they had the right information, they would be profitable. That's it. Whoops, we got it accidentally. Okay, here we go. My bad, you guys. Okay, keep Bitcoin Cash on the top and put Litecoin on the bottom. I accidentally put it on the top. Okay, where are we at here? There we go. Okay, cool. So if people have the right information and they actually trusted it, instead of being cynical, like a lot of people are cynical, and that really is sad because they're not going to get rich this cycle like they could if they weren't cynical. But if they just simply had the right information and they trusted that information, they would get rich. It has nothing to do with your IQ, has nothing to do with your hair color, has nothing to do with your anything. It literally, your genetics, nothing has anything to do with whether you're a successful trader or investor in these markets, except for the fact that whether you have the right information. That's it. If you have the right knowledge and the right information, you can be successful in these markets. And I'm here to tell you that the accumulation cycle is one of the most powerful things that you can understand about the market, because this is how most people get squeezed out of the market. This is how most people end up giving up on the cycle, because it's so painfully long. This is what an accumulation cycle looks like. Look at this. Do you think that people gave up on Bitcoin Cash by now? Yes. Yes, they have. A lot of people have. A lot of people have given up on this coin. Why? Because of look how long and painful and brutal this accumulation cycle is. It takes a real strong person mentally to be able to hold through this long of an accumulation cycle. But it's the same thing that happened right before the 2017 bull market for Litecoin. It's the same human psychology, baby. The same chart. It's the exact same thing. And Litecoin broke out to a new all-time high. All the way to a new all-time high. Our all-time high for Bitcoin Cash is $4,200 per coin. So for the people that were asking me for Bitcoin Cash targets, and I'm sorry I haven't made a Bitcoin Cash video lately, I need to. You guys, I personally think Bitcoin Cash is going to break out to a new all-time high. I firmly believe that with all of my heart. And when I say that, I believe we're going to break out not only to a new all-time high, but we're going to go nuts. And no, it won't go up forever, but look what happened to Litecoin. Litecoin went from being worth like $4 all the way up to $370. That's the kind of move that I'm expecting for Bitcoin Cash. Now, we can actually measure potential targets for Bitcoin Cash with the Fibonacci extension tool. But we're not going to do that today. I don't want to get all crazy into only one coin. Maybe I'll make a video about it. If you guys want me to, let me know. And we'll get into in-depth on the Bitcoin Cash Fibonacci extensions. But what I will say is a new all-time high is very, very likely. Over $4,200. That was our previous old all-time high, was $4,200. And I firmly believe that as a result of this accumulation cycle, we will break out to a new all-time high on Bitcoin Cash during the mass adoption cycle, which is what we're just starting with crypto. So it could go to $10,000 per coin before it tops out. I really believe that. Cool. So let's go ahead and do analysis on virtual. Let's do analysis on virtual. But yeah, you guys, don't let those accumulation cycles shake you out of the market. Don't let them do that. keep accumulating. It's called an accumulation cycle for a reason, because the big whales are accumulating. And if you want to become a professional trader and investor, you got to tune yourself to the frequency of the big whales and do what they do. Cool. Virtual protocol. I think this is what my friend requested in Discord. He wasn't able to tune in today, so he told me he wanted in my free Discord community. If you guys aren't a member, join. Link in the description box below. I have a free Discord community, and somebody in there requested that I do analysis on virtual. I think actually it was one of my mastermind coaching members. Or no, it was one of my one-on-one coaching members. If you guys do want to do one-on-one coaching, talked about it earlier, apply, link in the description box below for one-on-one coaching. So as you can see here with virtuals, we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. This looks really good. We have a complete Elliott wave impulse here and a full correction all the way back down to the 786 or the 88%. Let's see which one it is. All the way down to the 88% Fibonacci retracement. That is the most common place for altcoins to bottom out in the bigger time frames, right? So if we go to if we're talking about complete cycles, like on the 5-day time frame here, this is a macro cycle for virtuals protocol, and it's very common to see those altcoins bottom out at the 88%. Now for the micro cycles, like we were looking at earlier, again, watch the 618 level. But for these macro cycles, watch that 88% level. So I do think this coin could see a reversal off the 88% level down here. Definitely oversold. This is a terrible place to be selling and a really good place to be buying. So that's my view on virtuals. Now let's talk about the VIX, because somebody else also requested the VIX in my Discord, and then we'll go ahead and get as many of the other coins that you guys have requested here in the live chat. It's a good day to be alive, you guys. It's a good day to be a crypto investor and trader. So somebody wanted me to do analysis on the volatility index for the S&P 500. A lot of times people look at this if they're watching for a recession, and you guys have to be careful using this, because a lot of times it looks like it's just going to break out. And by the way, when this thing goes up, it usually means a recession, right? Here was March of 2020. That was the COVID drop, and the VIX was going up. Or even the recent crash that we saw in the market, right? The VIX was going up. Or back here in 2008, when everything was crashing in 2008 and 2009, the VIX was going up, right? So this does have a tendency to show when a correction is coming in the market. If you start to see the VIX breaking out, you might want to be careful that a correction is coming in the market. But what it also does is it looks like it's going to break out all the time, and then it doesn't. It does this all the time, like all the time. And if you look in the smaller time frame, or even if you go back over here like this, if you look at the VIX, the volatility index, you can see just look how many times it looked like it was going to break out. It looks like it's going to over and over and over and over and over, and then it doesn't. So you just have to be aware of the fact that this thing can look like it's about to break out when it's not going to. It can trick a lot of people. They all start looking at the VIX and they're all going, oh my goodness, you guys, the stock market's going to see a massive correction. And oh no, the crypto markets are going to go to zero. No, you guys, the VIX looks like it's going to break out all the freaking time. And then it just goes right back down and then goes sideways forever. And yeah, we did have a breakout. Well, the markets actually saw their correction. But I think that correction for the stock market and for the crypto markets is over. Not going to happen more. I think it's over. This was our breakout on the VIX. It already happened. So I think what this thing is going to do is this. It's just going to keep doing what it does 99% of the time, which is go down and sideways. So, yeah. No, I'm not a bear on the stock market, and I'm not a bear on crypto. I'm a bull. And the VIX actually, for me, tells me to remain bullish and not to be a bear. So yeah, that's my view on the VIX. Okay, now that I've done all the requested coins on my Discord for the people that weren't able to make it, let's go ahead and do all of the requests that you guys have in the live chat. And then we're already an hour in, so I can't live stream all day as much as I'd like to. I've got other business stuff to take care of today. So let's pull up the Velo chart and take a look at Velo here. And I was doing big picture analysis in one of my videos, so don't mind the giant lines, okay? Velo hasn't changed from the last time that I did analysis on this thing. We have a trend line here. We're on the trend line, and I think we're going to bounce off of it. And I believe we're starting to see a reversal here on Velo and the beginnings of a bull market, which is why we have so much volume down here and higher lows and higher highs, because we're starting a bull market. And if you don't understand what markets look like when they start bull markets, then today is the day that you need to start learning. Not tomorrow, not next week. If you want to be profitable, start learning now what it looks like when markets break out into bull markets. Here is Bitcoin. Okay? Bitcoin looks like this. Choppy, 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 but higher highs and higher lows, right? That's the same thing that Velo is doing right now as we speak. See, let's pull this up over here. Bitcoin right here, and we'll pull up Velo right here. This is the way markets look when they're bottoming out. And it's okay if you don't understand this stuff, you know. Just start learning. But don't do anything dumb. Don't panic sell your crypto. Don't get irrational. Just start learning the nature of markets. Because Velo and Bitcoin, this early day cycle on Bitcoin and this early day cycle on Velo, or this current cycle, my bad, this current cycle on Velo looks a lot like the early day cycle on Bitcoin. This is the way that markets bottom out. They're choppy. They have these lower trend lines like this, you know, and then they follow these lower trend lines, and then they start to build a market structure. And once it builds enough momentum, a bull market starts. That's the nature of these markets. And yes, I am bullish on Velo. Okay, so we got the Velo analysis done. Just stay focused on the bigger time frame here, on the 5-day candlesticks, on what's happening. If you zoom out and focus on the way markets reverse, and focus on how markets have to build momentum, have to build enough structure, base, you know, enough bottoming structure and a base for them to actually start a bull market. They have to do that. That's the way markets bottom out 80% of the time. Sometimes you do get a bottom like this, where it just goes like that. But most of the time, markets bottom like this, you guys. They're choppy, they're crazy, and then they bottom out, and then they start a bull market. It's just the way they are. Do I think Dogecoin will go over 40 cents? Yes, I do. Go watch my video I made yesterday. I think Dogecoin will go astronomically high, because this is the mass adoption phase for crypto. Everything is telling us that. The charts are, even if you're a fundamental analyst and you're paying attention to fundamentals, this is the mass adoption cycle for crypto. I personally only look at charts, but for the fundamental guys out there that trade fundamentals, I mean, Bitcoin is going to be a treasury reserve asset, you guys. If that doesn't tell us that this is the mass adoption cycle, I don't know what does. Nothing, if that doesn't tell you, then nothing does, right? That's like, this is the mass adoption cycle for crypto. And you're either going to buy the dip right now and make a stupid amount of money and get super rich when everything pumps, or you're going to buy later when everybody's talking about it and you won't make as much, or you might even end up buying the top. That's your options. And yeah, I do think Dogecoin is set up for some really big things. It looks a lot like Bitcoin back in the day when people didn't care about Bitcoin, when nobody knew about it, when Bitcoin was still a small thing, just like how Dogecoin is still a small thing. And really only a select few people knew about it. And then Bitcoin started this massive bull market. And that's really what Dogecoin is set up for right now. And buying the dip on it right here is a lot like buying Bitcoin right here before Bitcoin really started to just go nuts. It's the same market structure. We have an ABC correction, a complete market cycle, the beginning of a new bull market. Everything is set up for Dogecoin to see absolutely insane gains. Astronomical gains. So yeah, I'm super bullish on Doge. Go watch my video that I made yesterday. Iron Mike, Dallin, keep it up. Everything is going to be fine. Hey, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Okay, Remington, yo, Dallin, do Giga Chat. Hey, man, I didn't even see that you were on the analysis or on the live stream. I'll do analysis for you, my friend. Okay, let's see here. Let me remove all the drawing tools here, and we'll just focus on the daily time frame here with GigaChad. So yeah, GigaChad did have a pretty big correction here, as you can see, but everything did. Stocks did, crypto, Dogecoin, it doesn't matter what you're looking at, everything saw a correction. So it's undervalued. Most everything is a really good buying opportunity right now as we speak. And GigaChad is not left out of that list of things that are a good buying opportunity. GigaChad is definitely a really, really good buying opportunity. And you can see here that we have the highest volume candle that we've ever seen down here. 52 million GigaChad tokens were traded at that level. What does that tell you? That tells you that the big players and the big whales are picking up as much GigaChad as they possibly can at these levels. That's what they're doing. They're picking up as much as they possibly can. They are being greedy when other people are being fearful. And you can see that we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And then we have our classic zigzag ABC correction, wave A, wave B, and wave C. That's a perfect opportunity to buy this thing at dirt cheap prices. This is super undervalued down here. And what I think is going to happen is a big picture reversal for GigaChad. So I'm definitely bullish on this coin. It looks super good down here. Cool. Let's see here. XCN. XCN. Oh yeah, I did analysis on this for you guys just the other day too, I think, in one of my other live streams. This is a very similar kind of thing of what we're seeing on a lot of these altcoins. Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, Wave 4, Wave 5, and an ABC correction down. A, B, and C. Perfect. That's like textbook Elliott wave structure. Then we're probably on the 786 level down here. Yep, a little bit below, but pretty much to 786. So this is a very common place to see a reversal down here, and I think we will see a reversal off of these lows. It'll probably round out a little bit like that and then start to pick up momentum and turn around. Study market cycles. Study what a market cycle is. This is how you get rich. Understanding the market cycle and understanding Elliott waves has made me more money than, and Fibonacci as well, has made me more money than anything else in my entire life. I made more money in a single day understanding this than a lot of people make in a year. All because of Elliott waves and Fibonacci and market cycles. So you just have to understand the way these markets work, okay? They are simpler than you think they are. And you are going to make some mistakes along the way. I've made a lot of mistakes along my journey too. But you can figure it out, and you are going to get good at this, and you are going to get so good that you start printing money to where you're making more money than you know what to do with. And understanding the market cycle is one of the best ways to do that. And when you look at Onyx, or XCN right here, yeah, it is Onyx coin. Yeah, Onyx coin. This coin is a perfect example of a market cycle. 5 waves up, ABC down. That is all of the human emotion of the market cycle in a single chart. We're in the depression phase. This is the most highest opportunity to make money buying down here than any other point in the cycle. Unless you buy down here before the cycle even really starts, the depression phase is the point of maximum financial opportunity. And that's what we see here with Onyx coin. Popcat. Yeah, we can do Popcat. And then I got to go, you guys. I'm getting a little bit over time for my live stream. But I'll do one more for you. Maybe 2 more. We'll see. Where's Popcat that has all the data for Popcat? I think maybe on Mexi, I bet has more data. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's not the whole data of the whole chart, but it's more. So this one has an ABC correction as well. And look at all that volume down here. This is insane amounts of volume down at these levels. Insane amounts. 121 million Popcat tokens traded at 18 cents. That's a really, really good, insane amounts of volume traded at those levels. So yeah, I do think Popcat will see a reversal along with the other altcoins. This is one of those top quality memes for this cycle. Just a top quality meme. This thing is going to go nuts. It's already started to. Yeah, it did have a big retracement, but this thing is ready for a big reversal. What goes down must come up, and what goes up must come down. And that's just, the more that you understand that and just take that into your trading and your investing and accept that for what it is, the better of a trader you're going to be. There's bullish divergence here on both the MACD and the RSI. We're super oversold on the RSI, on the daily. We're probably even more oversold on the 3-day. Yeah, we're super oversold on the 3-day. This thing is ready for a reversal. Okay, last coin for the day. And thank you guys so much, everybody, for all of you for tuning in to today's live stream. I don't know if that's the right coin, so I'm not going to do that one. Moo. Yeah, let's do Moo. See if we can find Moo here. Moo the bull. Moo the bull, baby. That sounds like a cool coin. Let's see. So on the 3-day candlesticks, we are very, very, very oversold here with Moo. And then if we drop time frames down to a smaller time frame, so what I mean by oversold, if you guys don't know, this is the RSI down here at the bottom. The RSI is extremely oversold. We're super oversold on this thing. And so that's on the excuse me. So that's on the 3-day candlesticks that we're super oversold for Moo here. And what I think is going to happen here, you guys, because of how oversold we are, because we have an ABC correction, and because we have consistent volume for this thing, I mean, look at all this volume, just consistent trading volume. And I bet if I go to Dex Screener, there's even more historical data for this coin if we go over to Dex Screener, because a lot of times on TradingView, you're not going to get all of the historical data for a lot of these meme coins. So you have to go over to Dex Screener to get a little bit more historical data. So let's find the one with the biggest market cap right here. That's going to be the one that's real, the one that's the real coin and not some scam coin. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, we do have more historical data here on the weekly on Dex Screener. So we are super oversold. We're on major horizontal support, coming clear back to when this coin very first got added to exchanges and first got traded on Radium. And yeah, we have declining volume and declining price, which is bullish. And we do have an ABC correction as well. We have wave A. And you got to ignore these big wicks. Like I was saying, crypto is volatile. We have an ABC correction down here. And that looks like a really good place to be picking up Moo down here. And again, we're really oversold here on the 4-day or the 3-day time frame. And if we drop down to the daily, we also have bullish divergence. So this is a really good place to be picking up Moo the bull. And you can see that the whales are doing the same thing. Look at that volume, right? The big whales are picking up Moo the bull. So yeah. Oh, Duco. Okay, one last coin that I really got to go, you guys. As much as I want to keep doing coins for you guys and keep doing analysis, I've got some stuff to do today. So Duco, this coin looks really, really good. This is one that we covered in one of my previous live streams. I was requested to cover this coin. This song. I always play songs at the end of my live streams, and people request like specific songs, so my subconscious mind just pulled that one out of nowhere. So yeah, this is a coin that I have been asked to cover in my previous live streams. And no, I don't have my guitar with me today, so I can't play any songs for you guys, unfortunately. But yeah, so we do have a big falling wedge pattern here with Duco. And we did break bullish out of this falling wedge. And what I think we're going to have happen here is a reversal. So I think we're going to start to bottom out like this. And this will be kind of a double bottom right here. And we'll start to see a reversal as a result of this big falling wedge. And also as a result of all this volume that we're starting to see here on Duco. This thing looks really good. I like this setup a lot. And we also have bullish divergence. So if we zoom into the chart, let's take the drawing tools off here and we'll zoom into the chart a little bit here. You can see that there is a lot of bullish divergence. We have a lower low right here, and we had a higher low on the on the RSI, as well as on the MACD too. Both of them did. So I think this will turn around here sooner rather than later. Why do you always focus on bullish divergence on the MACD when most use the RSI? That is a great question, great attack. So I use the MACD because the bigger institutions use the MACD. So if you go study the bigger institutions and you study the way they trade and the way they invest, the MACD is one of the most popular indicators of all time. This is what the big institutions use. And also I like it more. I get more consistent signals. I'm not saying the RSI isn't useful. It is. But for me, the MACD more consistently gives reversals, bullish or bearish reversals in the market. And if you go study the big institutions, they use the MACD. The MACD is one of the most powerful indicators ever. And all of the big institutions, all the big trading desks, they use the MACD. They don't use the RSI, they use the MACD. And in my experience, the MACD is more powerful and more consistent and more helpful than the RSI. So cool. Thank you guys all for tuning in to today's analysis and today's live stream. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos and future live streams. And make sure that you get your requests ready for next live stream. And be thinking of new coins for me so I can run over them in the next live stream. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And as always, stay profitable out there.